Welcome back, guys. This is Corey again with another live stream. Sorry that I didn't start on time at 5. I was having a bit of a little issue trying to figure out how to go from my, I guess, reservation or my schedule, what have you, to now. I'm a bit tired and it is very hot, so I apologize for the sweat that you guys may end up seeing. So yeah, right now, just to touch up, I am again doing Green Lantern, repping the lanterns. So yeah, I last left off with sewing pretty much the arms. If I remember correctly, it was the arm and the side. I have not, since having my last live stream, have done anything else to the costume. I haven't made any alterations that I needed to make or what have you. Just been a little busy, I guess. But everything is still pinned, as you can see. Everything is still pinned together. If I remember correctly, I last spoke about how I needed to redo the inside of, I believe this is the left side. No, this is the left side. I have to redo the inside of the leg to make it a little wider because the size of my legs are a bit on the thicker side, and it is a tight squeeze, especially when I get down towards the bottom. I did, however, fix the seam or fix the taper, seeing as again, like my foot being a little wider or like being a little bit too big to like really get through the opening. I needed to pretty much make it even. So instead of having the taper, I just have it how it's really supposed to be. But yeah, as you can see here, right here, when I tried to put my leg through, it pretty much popped the seam. And that was an indicator that I needed to make it a little wider in order to fit it, like in order to fit in properly. So that's what I'm gonna do with the right side. Instead of going straight down, the oh wow, I missed like a whole section right here. Instead of going straight down the pattern and where I have it pinned, I'm pretty much like on the inside, seeing as the outside of the left leg is, I can't really mess with that side too much, seeing as I pretty much cut into the excess fabric and like right on the line of the pattern. I need to, do what I'm going to do to the left side, which is make the inside of the leg, I'm going to make that a little bit wider so I can have hulking out. But yeah, just gonna sew like right on the line of the pattern on the inside of the leg. That way I'll be sure that I'll have enough room to fit my leg through with no problem. So we're gonna get started on that. But right now I am going to continue it. Before I sew the inside of the leg, I'm going to sew on the outside first. So where I left off last week was pretty much right where the hip ends, like the lower hip ends. And this is pretty much where the leg begins. So I'm going to start up here, even though right above this needle is where I stopped sewing. I'm just going to go over it again, starting up here at the top, and then just work my way down. All right, so just got to straighten everything out. Now, what I like to do if I'm not sewing, I don't leave the presser foot up. It's just a personal habit of mine. I don't know I don't really know like if it's good or not to leave your presser foot up even though the machine is not in use. I just make it a habit to leave it down. That way, like the thread doesn't possibly catch on to something, or just better safe than sorry, I guess. So let's turn that on and then line it up. Now, right now I'm just trying to find where the stitching, where I had the last stitch, and I believe I may have it. All right. Okay, now I'm lowering the needle so that it goes right through the previous stitch. And we're in. So with the outside of the leg, the outside I'm going to stitch right on the line of the pattern itself. With the inside, again, I'm gonna stitch on the pattern itself just for a little bit, and then I'm just gonna like slowly move outward so that I have I'm gonna have it the outside of the presser foot, or more like the inside of the presser foot. So it's gonna give a lot more space. Again, just to show you guys, because I already have the needle in. Well, I can't take the presser foot out to show you, but there's probably about maybe half an inch as opposed to, I'm assuming it's a half an inch as opposed to a quarter of an inch for the presser foot. So I'm gonna have the wider side on the outside of this part of the pattern in order to get like the proper spacing, or my best guess proper spacing. All right. So again, I'm still new to this and all the terminology and everything, so please forgive me if I say something wrong. So, and I don't need to go forward and back to lock in the stitch because it's still pretty much locked in because of the previous stitching that I did. So I'm just gonna go straight through. The only time I'm gonna lock it in is when I get all the way down to the bottom. Alrighty. And seeing as this is a straight shot, I could go a little faster than normal, making sure everything is laying down properly. All right, so we're nearing the end. I can slow down now. Oh, damn it. Got off track a little bit. So I'm bringing down the lever that's going to tell my machine, okay, I need to start going in backwards. 3, 2, 1, now. Start feeding it in backwards, and then go forward again. All right. All right. So I noticed that as I was going straight, there was maybe about one spot. Nope, there's two spots that I wasn't smack on the line, but that's okay. That's okay. So to give you guys a better look, can show you on the opposite side where the green thread shows. You can see that line going straight down all the way to the bottom, and here is where I locked it in. Again, just going back and forth. You don't have to go multiple times. You can just go straight down on your initial stitch, then go back once, and then go forward again, and that should be more than enough to lock it in. Now, the reason why I didn't lock it in up here at the top was because I still had this thread from the last time that I sewed and the thread that I have now. So all I can pretty much do here is just tie these two together in a knot, making sure that I don't make the knot make it too tight so that this bends in. I just need to make it tight enough that if it does happen to come undone slightly, it has nowhere to go. All right, so that I will do later. Now it's just taking out these pins, which is always fun. But de-pinning is so much faster than actual pinning, as you guys saw from my first stream. I'm telling you, I wish I had the foresight to pin ahead of time, because that took forever. So a little update on the ring for those that are wondering about the ring. The ring is pretty much done. I was very impatient last night and I pretty much airbrushed the ring and I did not give it proper time to actually dry. So maybe about 20 or 30 minutes or so after actually spraying, like airbrushing the ring, I went outside to spray like clear varnish on it, which I really should not have done because it ended up looking like this really, it's like milky, cloudy kind of color, and it was looking real gross. And good thing it wasn't really dry because I was able to just like peel all of that off. And if I mentioned before that I wanted to use a gem for like the actual gem itself in the ring, I went to where I saw the oh my gosh, the cufflinks that I wanted to use the gem from, and they didn't have it anymore. And that's my fault because I waited way too long to get it. This is what happens. If you wait too long to get something, they're going to be out of it. You know, they're going to be out of it more than likely. Then you're going to have to like look and shop online for stuff. And if it's something that like you need a particular size for, it's way better to like find it in person. That way you can see it in hand, as opposed to having one perspective online. You know, like you're looking for something that's small, but the camera is real close up on it and it's just not looking right. You happen to get it, it's the wrong size, money wasted. So instead, I made my own gem. I took the butt of a marker and some tin foil. I folded the foil in half so I could have, so it would be a little more sturdier. And I made an indentation of the marker, like the butt of the marker, into the foil. Took some hot glue. I took some hot glue, had it heated up, and then I poured that into the spot that I made the marker indentation with. And then I took some of the paint that I used for my airbrush kit, poured that in, and I mixed it up, and I got the right shape and everything. And it's gonna look pretty badass. It's gonna look. I need to make another one to like actually fit my actual finger without the glove, because this ring is gonna look too good to just have for the costume. It's gonna look so good, so good. Alrighties, now it is time for the inner thigh. I still haven't sewn the crotch area together yet. I'm still waiting to do that until after I put in the zipper, which hopefully we should get to in this stream. All right, now for the inner thigh, this I will have to lock in. So, you know, just going back and forth. Now this is a lot of fabric to move into the machine, so I have to make sure that there's nothing underneath that can get sewn in, because that's just a pain to undo. It takes a lot of time. It's just extremely tedious. Alrighty, let's put that down. So I just put down the presser foot just to make sure that there's no like extra fabric underneath or anything. And there seems to be none, so I can lift this up a little bit. Alrighty. Let's check again. Trying to move that out the way. Alrighty. Should be right there. All right. Now, once everything is done and it's all sewn together and everything, I can always go back and like tweak it a little bit here and there if I need to. Just grabbing an extra pin because I missed this one section for some reason. Just put that through. Booyah. Cyborg catchphrase. Alrighty. Lever down. Now we're gonna go forward a few. Then we're gonna go back a few. Then onward and forward. Let's just flatten all of this back here out so I can get a better grip. There we go. Ready. Now I'm just going off center and then you can't really see it from the angle that I have the camera, which I apologize for until I get better equipment. If I happen to get better equipment, this is what I'm using at the moment. So let me just try and move you guys over a little more. Where the tip of my finger is at, this is the inside of the presser foot. I call it the inside because it's going towards the machine. The inside of the presser foot is now just going to be lined up with the track of the pattern. That way I have that little extra room that I need. Again, if I need more, I can always go like after I have everything sewn together and I'm trying it on. If it fits but it's still too snug, I can always just go back and sew a little bit more on the outside and then undo the previous seam and then see if that works. So let's move back a little more. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Sunny D. I forgot how good Sunny D was. It's not packed with like tons of sugar like most drinks. And the calories are pretty low, which is always good. All right, I need to slow down because it's starting to bunch up. Straighten it out. And on another note, I've noticed that my machine makes, or yeah, pretty much makes whatever I'm sewing, instead of going straight, it kind of like goes in at a turn, and it's a pain. It's a slight pain having to make sure that like everything stays straight. So if you guys end up sewing or anything, just keep a lookout for that. That's why you'll see one hand, if you can see from that angle, I have one hand on most of the fabric that's on the inside of the machine, and then I'll have, you know, like my my pointer finger and my middle finger and my thumb on the outside fabric, trying to keep everything straight. Or you can just like let the machine sew at that angle, but try and keep everything straight for like the initial sewing point. Ow. All right, I'm nearing the bottom. Bring this down. 3, 2, 1, and back. And then back again. And that's locked in. Now my machine fortunately comes with like this little blade where you can see like right here, this little section right here has a little blade in it where you can just wrap the excess thread and just cut it right off. Alrighties. Okay. Let's take these pins out. Oh. Alrighty, so I see that I pretty much pinned like on some of the pins that, not pinned, I'm sorry, I've sewn on some of the pins that stick out farther, pretty much right where I was sewing at. I can't just like grab and take out because I pretty much literally sewed over like the head of the dull part of the pin. Ooh, it is really hot right now. All right. Now you can see this is the inside. As you can see, here's the pattern, the line for the pattern, and it's about maybe ½ inch away from the sew. Ooh. Okay. This is not going to work. This is not going to work properly. Hopefully I don't have any issues. Let's see just how far that is. A little less than ½ inch. So what is that? 1/3 of an inch? Yeah. Kind of, maybe a little over 1/3. All right. So yeah, this is going to be an issue because if I need to make this leg wider, I won't be able to because I don't have any more extra material to work with in this section, pretty much in between the two fingers. I don't have enough fabric to work with there, so hopefully this works. If it doesn't, I am going to be thoroughly annoyed because then this leg is going to be hella tight. So right now I'm just tying a knot in this section at the end of the lock just to add that like little extra, I guess, security to keep it from loosening and popping out. Alrighty, so that should be good. Get my seam ripper. That's cut. Then same thing on the other side. Pull it back a little bit. So yeah, in other news, just random tidbits. I started playing that My Hero Academia video game a couple of days ago, and I am so glad. I was kind of thinking about buying it, but I remember that like most anime video games are literally all the same. It's just reskinned, different supers and all that BS. So like I was watching this one video by this channel RDC World 1. Those guys, if you haven't checked them out, you have to. You have to. They are so funny. And one of their recent videos, they were talking about like how video game companies that make anime based or anime style video games are like all their games are basically the same, which they literally are, with the exception of Dragon Ball Z video games. Their mechanics are a little different, but if you've played like all the like Naruto Ninja Storm games, obviously they're all going to play the same way because it's of the same franchise. But then you have that One Piece arena fighting game. Um, I haven't played that new Jump Force game to really be able to give my personal opinion on it. I can only speak on what I've seen, and that pretty much looks like it plays like a Naruto game. And all the time that I'm playing this My Hero Academia game, it's like I'm just hearing them in the back of my head. It's like, yeah, you want a One Piece game? We're gonna have it. You want One Piece, Bleach, My Hero Academia? Have it play like Naruto, and it it is pretty much that. It is a Naruto styled My Hero Academia video game. So if you like those Naruto games, by all means, go for it because it is pretty entertaining for like the first 20 minutes. I'm being so serious. After that, it's so repetitive. It's stupid easy. Like you can't change the difficulty on that game at all. Um you can't change it from Japanese to English, which I am upset about that. I am a selective purist, I guess you can, if that's really a thing. Like, more than likely, the first language I watch an anime in is the language that I like it in. That's not always the case because I can definitely say I have seen um, High School of the Dead. I have seen that entirely in Japanese and entirely in English, and I like them both. I like both versions. They both sound really good. Um, I have seen all of One Punch Man in both English and Japanese. Like season one, I've seen all of those episodes in English and in Japanese. And again, I like them both. I like how they both sound. Um, but My Hero Academia, I just can't get behind. I can't get behind the Japanese version. It doesn't sound right to me. Like I like hearing Christopher R. Sabat. For those of you that don't know who that is Piccolo, Vegeta, Yamcha, Shenron, just to name a few characters that he's played. But I like hearing Christopher R. Sabat as All Might, and Bakugo's English voice sounds a lot kind of no, not Bakugo, Todoroki, the kid that has the red and white hair. He sounds pretty close to like Sasuke kind of. So it's like I like the English version of My Hero Academia, but that Japanese version is just ugh. I really can't get behind it. And I know that may upset some purists out there, but hey, that's just me. So I would recommend if you want like a quick easy fix of a My Hero Academia video game, go on and play it. The story mode, you play the hero's side first, and then after you beat the main story for the hero side, then you can play the villain side of the story. And my dude Stain is in the game. Like You can't have a My Hero Academia video game and not have Stain in it. But then on top of that, the roster itself is very small. Like, you don't get to play as everybody in Class 1A, which I find to be kind of stupid. You don't get to play as everybody in the Class 1A, and the story basically picks up. If you've seen the anime, it picks up right after the UA festival. So it starts where they have their internships, and like a lot is. I would have loved to have played the UA story, the UA festival story, because that was like one of the best parts of that anime was that whole festival. But the game is all right. You have Midoriya's shoot style as a free download, and that wind dude from Shiketsu, I think. Shiketsu High, I think that's the name of the school, the rival school of UA. You get to download. It's like $2.99 for that guy. I can't remember his name. And Endeavor. Nobody likes Endeavor. Alrighties. So now I have the leg tied closed. What is this? What is this? Oh. This is the leg that I just did. Alrighties. Yeah. Okay. So I have the leg closed. Let's see if I can fit my leg through with no problem. Here's hoping. Okay, for the most part, yeah, I can fit my leg through. I'm not going to try pulling it up because I have my shorts on, and that's just taking up a lot more room than the costume actually has. And I believe I just popped the stitch. Damn it, I felt that pop. Let me hold it right there because I think that's where it popped at. So this isn't going to be skin tight as I would like it to be, or close to skin tight as I would like it to be, but that's okay. Now, where did that pop happen at? Yep, I see you. Did it go all the way through? And it did. Frack. Fucking fuck. All right, well, that's an easy fix. I know where it popped at. I can just go over that a couple of times and close it right up. That's no biggie. All right, so the leg is pretty much done. There we go. Got to be careful not to knock over my juice. My juice. All right. So now I have so much excess material that it's not even funny. So I still need to go over. Yeah, I still need to go over this arm. Do I? I don't remember. Did I? I did this arm, right? Yeah, no, actually. Not really, kind of, sort of, but not really. This should be fine. All right. Now, in this segment, there is going to be some pinning because I now need to pin the neck piece. I need to pin the neck piece on. And where are you? Here's the neck piece. So again, the neck piece is 2mm craft foam, and I pretty much have it pasted. I have the fabric pasted on both the front and the back. So that's why it's pretty much looking kind of taut, I guess. Like you can see some right here is kind of curving up a little bit, but that's easily fixable. I can just like heat it up and it should act right. But yeah, now I just need to turn it inside out, kind of, or just backwards. And then I have to pin this onto the suit. And then I want to try and get it as close to the edge of the foam as I can without going over and like sewing onto the foam. So this I'm going to pin while standing up to get like that, I guess, bird's eye view. And also see everything much better. I need to freshen up these marks. Push that in a little more. Here's that side. This is fine, but I can still do it anyway. There it is. Okay. So now this is going to be a little tricky because I need to pin on like multiple layers, and I also have to make sure everything lines up right. So yeah, right now I'm just freshening up where the marks are on the black fabric. The green is the marks on the green fabric, they're still visible. So I don't really need to freshen those marks up, even though I should. However, I can't seem to remember where I placed my black chalk at, but that's okay. Taking another sip. Alrighties. Now, I'm going to need to pin. Oh, okay. So I want it. Alrighties. So I need to pin the outside. This is the outside of the neck piece. I need to pin the outside to the inside of, or the outside to the outside of the costume. And I also need to make sure I have everything lined up. So I want like the crease of the neck piece perfectly lined up with the costume itself. That way everything sits flush. Now, will I be able to get that? There's only one way to find out. And we are going to find out together. Ready, so There's one. Oh, this is going to be very interesting. So right now I have so much excess material at the shoulders, up at the shoulder area or like the collarbone area. I I really want to cut that like some of it off, but if I cut too much off and I mess up, I'm not going to have that extra space to work with. But like I need to cut something off or else I really can't work with this. So, let's cut this big flap off about here. That should be enough. Oh, I hope I'm not cutting off too much. Because if I do cut off too much, I'm not going to have, again, I'm not going to have enough to work with. And I don't have enough fabric to make another piece like these. So, I mean, I can always order more, but you know, it's real tough. It's real tough. Alrighties, so now again, just making sure everything lines up. Right, I'm going to pin these sides together. This side piece isn't getting pinned to the costume because I'm gonna have the zipper go all the way up to the back of the neck piece. So I'm just having this pinned so it's not pretty much so it's not in my way. And I also have another piece pinned like right here. So it keeps the space between these 2 points that's not sewn all the way up. I'm gonna keep that pin there so that those 2 points are real close to each other. Alrighty. Now I got enough of that pinned on that side. I'm gonna pin the other corner to this side now. Now, when I'm sewing this together, I'm only going to do one pass, just like as straight as I can. That way I can see if there's anything that's wrong. And if there is, I can just strip out the sew the stitch there as opposed to going like just sewing down and then locking it in and then like it's not right. Because if that happens, again, undoing a stitch, be it one pass or multiple passes, to me personally is so annoying. All right. Now I can continue sewing down or pinning down. I'm sorry. right, now same thing as the last side. I have too much excess material. Let me tie these closed real quick. But yes, I have too much excess material up at the top of the shoulders and the collarbone area. So I'm gonna have to trim some of that away in order to like properly see where I'm pinning at. So yeah, hopefully my process becomes a little more refined the longer I'm doing this. Um, I do have a couple of more ideas for costumes and stuff. Definitely, like maybe one or two more Star Wars costumes. Maybe like a Jedi costume and a Sith costume, or I can just do one costume and have that be like an in-betweener. You know, have it light colors on the outside and dark colors on the inside, or vice versa. Because apparently, Jedi Jedi tunics are color specific, light colors. You know, light browns, some tans, very little black. Black is only reserved for the dark side. BS. Alrighty. So let's cut about here. This should be enough. Yeah. And then same for over here. Kind of cut this at like a crescent shape. There we go. Alrighties, now find. Okay. Pinning is so much fun. No, it's not. Anybody that tells you differently is a liar. All right. Let's try and use this pin to get along the edge of the neck piece. Did that work? Yeah, that worked. All right. Now back to this side. Sorry if you guys can hear all that noise. A bunch of bikers just going by. I wouldn't even call them bikers. You know, real men drive, ride. You don't drive a motorcycle, you ride a motorcycle. Real men ride Harley Davidson. These are like dirt bikes and overpowered mopeds. Little kid bikes. Okay, did that one? It does not feel like it went through the foam, so that's good. There we go. So I really do hope that this part of the process, stitching the neck piece onto the costume itself, I really hope that goes smoothly, because it's not really gonna be the centerpiece of my costume. Like, the centerpiece is more than likely gonna be these. I'm really liking how this white is showing up on camera. But yeah, these two pieces are more than likely going to be the centerpiece of the costume. This is what's going to grab most of the attention. But that neck piece, being the way that I picture it in my head, you know, it just needs to look right. It has to look right. So I'm really hoping that it comes out really good. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be so annoyed. But again, I mean, like, once it's sewn on, I can always just go back and just like clean it up. But I'm just wishful thinking. I would really like to get it right the first time. Okay, so cutting off more excess material. Hopefully I'm not cutting off too much if I need to make alterations to the arm. Alrighty. Just cutting that off so it's a lot easier to work with. Right, now let's find the middle and pin that so that I don't have to really worry about the middle being spot on, or as spot on as it could be. Let's fold this in half. So what I'm doing right now, in order to like really find the halfway mark, I took the neck piece and then I just folded it in half so I can get like as close to perfectly half as possible. And I'm just overlapping the right where the collarbone is at, on the costume, on the suit itself. And I'm just pushing the pin right through. It didn't really go through and through, but I have the spot where it needs to go. then right there. Okay. All right. So now you can see here's the line on, this is the chest. This part right here is the, I have the line going all the way up. Well, it's lined up nicely. It's going right through where the collarbone kind of ends. And then this part right here that I'm pulling up is attached to the neck piece. So I have that lined up as best as I can. And I am going to oh boy. Okay. I'm going to start pinning as close as I can to everything. Seeing where the black stretches. That stretch is going that way. Okay, this is going to be real interesting. All right, so I am nearing 1 hour. No, you are not going out. You are not going out. You are staying in. All right. Okay, so now I notice that I'm gonna have a little bit of a hard time because there's a lot of space left for this the outer collarbone area, like shoulder area, and then collarbone area on the green, but there's not enough space here on the neck piece. So this is definitely gonna be challenging. Fuck it. Go full throttle, right? Just gotta make sure that it something gets pinned. Can always go back and fix it. Once it's sewn, I can always go back and fix it. So yeah, this is part of the grueling process, making sure everything lines up, especially like how you want it. Making sure everything lays right can always be a pain. But once it's all done and everything works, it's so worth it. Okay, so I'm gonna fold this in a little bit. I know I shouldn't, or I have a feeling that I shouldn't, but I'm going to. The only reason being I feel like I shouldn't do that is because if when I'm sewing it on and then like I spread everything out to get like a real good look at everything, there could always be a possibility of this one little flap right here This one little flap could make the outside look just how this looks, folded in. So I run the risk of that happening. And if that happens, of course, I'm going to have to go back, take out that stitch, and oh, it's too much. But the stuff that us cosplayers do, I don't know if anyone else that cosplays would make a compromise like that. I can't imagine that they don't, especially if it's like they're doing something like this, you know, having a piece be the way that it is, but then like you're also trying to make it fit and look like it's not what it is, I guess. Because I'm pretty much, that's how I feel what I'm doing is going to end up looking. I'm trying to make something look I'm trying to make something that looks bulky lay flat. And I really don't have enough room to make that happen correctly. So I have to make compromises where I can, that being one of them, and this being another. Right where I'm at right now, I need to pin down, and then I need to fold over again because I'm starting to run out of room. Starting to run out of room on the neck piece, and I have too much material to work with, like going towards the shoulder, collarbone area. So I need to make compromises, fold over what I can, and then pin that down. All while making sure everything lines up properly. Whew. Oh, I'm trying. There we go. Trying to make sure I wasn't going to poke myself, because that would not have been pretty. It doesn't feel right. It's because it's not right again. I can just go back and fix it. Go back, go back, go back and fix it. All right, so I have one fold. So far I have 2 folds. Hopefully I don't need any more, but I have a feeling that I may need more. All right, let's take a seat. Spread this out. All right. Let's do another fold. This time, it's going to be green on top instead of the black. All right. Okay, now I don't have that much pinned on the opposite side, which really isn't good. I mean, like I have everything centered already, but that still isn't good. I just want to get this side working. How do, like costume directors and everybody that works in that field, how do they, I mean, like, obviously school, but still. I think I may be doing this wrong. I think I may be doing this wrong. Because something is telling me that I should have all of this sewn together. So I don't know. Something is telling me that I should have this sewn together in order for it to work right. Well, you know what? I'm going to finish pinning this, and then I'm going to call this stream a day. Or I can finish pinning it and then sew it on and see if it works. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, then I'm pretty sure my thought may be right where I need to basically, like, where the points, I don't know if you can really see this, but like it's kind of dingy. This line right here, along with this line here, and so on and so forth, going all the way around, basically like the collar section. I have a feeling that I need to sew all of that together, like on one side, sew all of that together on one side, and then sew all of that together on the opposite side to get that curve, and then pin it on. So yeah, we're gonna go with this method first. And if this doesn't work, then I'll just, undo the stitch, undo everything, sew all these points together, and then re-sew and see how that comes out. So, so. Baby, do you? All right, now that should have been a flip. So I think it's okay to like have a lot more of the green fabric overlapping itself, seeing as that's the more stretchier fabric. Um, the black, I need to have it like overlapping in short. I need to have like shorter parts of it overlapping itself because it doesn't want to stretch as far as the green fabric does. Come on. Okay, nearing the end of the pinning on this side. And we have reached an hour and 10 minutes on this stream. So yeah, after I finish pinning this, I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to try and have my content or whatever I make, if it's going to be like shorter videos and what have you, I'll upload those, as I make them. But I I guess like my longer content, my longer stuff, I'm gonna have, or I'm gonna try and have those uploaded, like during the weekends. So like Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. My live streams, I'm going to try and do those on days that I have off, so that I'm not overly tired from work. Which those days are mainly like Friday, and alternating like Saturdays and Sundays. Um, but yes, my live streams I'll try and keep to the weekends, and my regular content I'm going to try and have those uploaded as soon as I'm able. I had made a video previously, I think maybe a couple of nights ago, on my ring, and I haven't uploaded it yet, only because been slightly busy, and just like work and life. And I also want to try and figure out how to insert pictures into a video. That way I can show you guys, like how it looks as I started. I pretty much have it so that like it shows like a template of the ring itself, and then the cutouts of the Warbler, and then the practice Green Lantern ring that I have made already. So I just need to figure out how to insert pictures into a video. Any of you that know how to do that, please message or comment in one of my videos letting me know how. Or I can just figure out how to do that, whichever one. But okay, here I'm going over for fold. But yes, there will be another video coming up soon on my ring. And as you guys see, I pretty much finished the costume. I just need to do some tweaks here and there and make sure everything is laying properly. Alrighties. But other than that, the pinning of the neck piece is just about done. And it is now fold. So see, this is a lot of material left over, and seriously not enough space on the neck piece. So that's always an issue that I run into when something does not line up properly. So I'm just gonna fold this over and give that a couple of pins. Making sure I don't stick myself. All right, so I have all of that pinned. Whew. It's very hot. It's very hot.
So all of that is pinned. I'm gonna do the sewing off camera. So just to go over what I just did, I pinned the whole neck piece, which again is 2 pieces of craft foam, like 2mm craft foam, basically sandwiched in between one piece of 4-way stretch fabric. And I guess because of how the fabric acts and how the foam acts, it's making it basically like fold in on itself. So it is a little difficult to work with. But I took the excess material on the bottom of the neck piece and on the sides of the neck piece, and I pinned that on. As you can see right here, this dark line right there, that's where the zipper is supposed to go. I pinned the excess materials on the sides. This is the neck piece right here, on the sides and on the bottom to the suit itself. And now all I have to do is just sew it all together and hope for the best that it works. Again, if it doesn't work, yeah, I'm gonna be bummed that it doesn't work, because then that means I have to basically undo everything, which I have to like undo this pin right here and repin it. But I'm gonna have to basically undo everything and then repin, resew. But I will try, like, if this doesn't work, I am gonna try another method. I did have the idea of taking all the open edges up at the collarbone area and sewing, pretty much like sewing that together to get a circular effect, and just sew all of those together and see how that works. Or I don't know. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't think that would work if I was to do that. It's a lot to figure out. It's a lot to figure out, but I will figure it out. I still have pretty much all of this month. It is what, the 7th? Yes, it is the 7th. I have until I'm gonna give myself the deadline of mid-September to have this costume done. That way I have a couple of weeks to make a few tweaks here and there. But I have the neck piece pinned. Again, I will do that sewing off camera and hopefully it all works out. And if it does, awesome. If it doesn't, then, you know, back to, yeah, see right here, this area right here is where I pretty much clumped up what little bit of fabric I have left for the green. So that's gonna look real shitty. And that's an understatement. But there's not much I can do with what I'm working with at the moment. So I can only do what I'm able to. So yeah, I'm going to call this stream to its end. Again, I will sew the neck piece on off camera, and in my next stream, I will show you guys the result. Within the next stream, I will be, where are you guys? Where did I? In my next stream, I will be sewing these on. Okay, these are the shoes that are a part of the costume. Again, I wanted the costume to be one piece. Sewing these on will make that one piece. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I hope you found it somewhat informational or helpful in whatever you guys are doing with your costumes. Again, if you are making a costume and one part is a little too tight, I don't think you should fully undo that thread or that stitch. If you have enough excess material that you can basically sew on the outside of your initial stitch, just do that. Just sew a little bit on the outside of that stitch. That way you can check and see, okay, if like how much extra room you need to give yourself. You know, don't, I would say take your time, but not too much time. You know, like 3 months can go by really fast. Okay, 3 months can go by really fast. So just take your time, you know, little by little, just like do what you can. Don't rush, because if you rush, you make mistakes. So take your time, make sure you have everything the way that you want it, and, you know, just hope for the best. So signing off, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching.